We are now.
This meeting of the Planning and Zoning Committee will now be adjourned.
Call to order.
I call to order. Boy, I'll never get this
Well,
right.
that was a quick meeting. We can go.
I like those.
I'll learn someday. After I got to deal with it, last week I turned 80 degrees.
Well, happy birthday.
I gotta go home.
They have medicines for that.
You want to read our
Turning
disclaimer?
80, you
Yes.
just can't help it all. You don't know it.
Some members of the planning and zoning may participate via telephone or video conference. A quorum may or may not be physically present in the city council chambers. Citizens wishing to make comments should email dstrickland@evermanTX.net. Citizens' comments received prior to the meeting adjourned will be read to the council. All right. We did get the approval, somebody to motion of approval of prior minutes.
I make a motion to approve the prior minutes.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
On for number 3, discussion items. You're
All right. Everybody should have a copy in front of you. Yes, it's 50 pages front and back. Most of this is stuff we've already gone over and looked over. All the projects are attached here. The first few pages are the actual plan that will be incorporated hopefully into our comprehensive plan. So there's multiple stages with a comprehensive plan, one of those being a master thoroughfare plan, another one talking about capital improvement, which is the section that we've been working on for quite some time now. The first page just kind of describes what a capital improvement plan is. Second page continues that and talks about the purpose and why it's important we should have a capital improvement plan. And then page 3 goes into the work that you all have done as the Planning and Zoning Commission and your part in this process. On the, what is that? The back of the second page where it says goals. We talked a little bit last week and I took the information that we discussed briefly last week to incorporate into our goals here. And what I've summed up from that is overall, our goals are to improve city infrastructure, particularly related to transportation and water service, improve the safety and well-being of citizens and residents through public safety, through improved public safety services such as police, fire, and emergency medical services, provide more venues or attractions within the city for family-friendly entertainment and activities, for example, neighborhood fishing ponds, entertainment district, etc., and have more essential services available to residents within the city, for example, pharmacies, financial institutions, and medical facilities. I feel like I summed that up pretty good from what we talked about last week.
Yeah.
Okay. What we'll do is we'll take that information that you guys talked about last week and talking about targeting specific businesses and bringing those in. That information gets shared with economic development. Economic development will go out and see what they can bring in. Neighborhood fishing ponds and stuff, we're going to start researching that to see what avenue maybe we can pursue with the Texas Parks and Wildlife to bring some kind of program like that in. Once we get the ball rolling on how these projects go, that's when a CIP form would be completed. And we turn that back over to y'all for consideration to approve to put into the capital improvement plan to set an urgency or a code to it. And we'll go from there. The next page, front and back, is all the projects. What we're going to kind of go over tonight is we're going to review all of the projects that we've listed and how you guys have categorized them. One thing I want to cover with you is last week I had a meeting with Tarrant County, some folks from Tarrant County Precinct 1. And in our discussion, one of the things I wanted to determine was the agreement, the interlocal agreement, how that worked between the city of Everman and Tarrant County on road construction. Because if you recall, we talked about road construction and how the county only does street rebuilds and that we were looking to purchase a lot of equipment to come in and do overlays and maintenance and so forth. There's been a lot of changes, and I was informed that county will come in and do overlays for us and do street maintenance for us as long as we pay for materials. So in considering that, it would kind of be a waste of money, in my opinion, to purchase the equipment, and we don't have the manpower to staff it as it currently stands. It would kind of be overwhelming for us to go out and buy the paver and the rollers and the double drums and all this machinery to do overlays if county's willing to come in and utilize their equipment and their manpower to do it for us. We got we had a pretty lengthy conversation about how that process works and how we can become involved with that process. And we're pretty deeply involved in it now. So I've made the choice to go ahead and remove those items, the street items, from the CIP. So you're not going to see those items listed on here any longer. If you would like me to keep it in there, I can. I just feel that's a waste of almost $500,000 in equipment when we've got it sitting there for free and available to us on behalf of the county. One thing that we will want to come back in and add in here is the one thing that county doesn't do that I clarified. They do not do what they call crack fill and reseal of a road. They'll do overlays, they'll do a lot of maintenance, but they will not do crack fill and resealing. Wichita Street, which was paved just 7 years ago, it's time for it to get crack filled and resealed. One of the things that Michael Nicoletti's been working on with the cat dealer, who we've gotten a lot of these prices and stuff from, is actually a rental program for that machine. The machine itself cost about $80,000 to purchase it outright. We can also rent it from them for 1 month for about $5,000. So we could rent it for 8 years and pay the same amount. Well, if we were to buy it 8 years from now, it's probably going to be due for some major maintenance or replacement anyway, and we'd be looking at a continual cost. By renting it, we don't have to worry about the maintenance cost of it. All we got to do is worry about the materials and stuff that goes in it. So I think we're probably going to push that rental route with as few streets as we have. I think we could get all of our streets addressed annually with 1 month rental and just knock them all out in 1 month and get done with it. Wanted to run that by y'all and make sure everybody's in a kind of agreement there.
Sounds good.
Shoot,
When you
go
were
for it.
saying that about all the street equipment, when we talked about the tractors for mowing, is that included in the street or?
I'm sorry, the
When
tractor.
we talked about the tractors, for mowing, the lawn equipment? for
No,
mowing?
that's not included with street. The
Okay.
street equipment that was removed was the double drum roller, the asphalt layer, one of the big backhoe machines,
Dump truck.
the dump
Dump
truck,
truck.
the big dump truck.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
So I mean, there was about $500,000 in
Talked about
equipment.
keeping the side of the streets like over here for the bushes and trees or whatever on side of the street mow.
Yeah, we've already purchased two skag mowers.
Okay.
That we've got that are commercial grade for that. And one of the items still listed in here is another one for the water department for well lot maintenance and so forth.
Okay.
One of the ideas that he brought up that I still haven't got with the city manager over at Grand Prairie about is because I want to figure that thing out. That thing sounds cool. That edger. Again, this is a fluid document. We're going to ask you guys to vote on this tonight, but that doesn't mean you're locked in. Doesn't mean we can't come back and change anything. It just means
skid steer
we're going to
about
take this forward.
The dump trucks, do we not still need a better dump truck?
Not that size. We would need that size or we're going to be doing road overlays or road
Right.
construction, but the size that we have now, the new one that we just got, it's a 25 yard.
Okay, we just got,
Okay.
Yeah, it's a 25 yard. So for the minor projects that our public work crews will be doing, I think that's sufficient right now,
okay.
and wouldn't recommend looking at
I just
upgrading
didn't
that.
know if we had gotten another one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we have one better than the one that was pictured.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Skid steer.
It's still in here. Skid steer is still in here, and I'll highlight that one for a second. So with the winter weather storm we had a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, we had a incident debriefing after that, where I had all the public works staff and city staff and fire department and police department here. And we just talked about what went well and what went bad. One of the things that went bad in that project was that our box blade machine would not start. To this day, we still can't get it started. A lot of the lines froze on it and cracked, and it's in pretty desperate need of repair.
Diesel gel.
So that left us with one backhoe. Well, when we're working two main breaks and we have to dig out lines to thaw them out at our water wells, that was a pretty big problem, only having one machine. So I believe we're looking to put to city council next Tuesday an emergency request to acquire a new box blade with street funds. And that's just because we have to have that. Without it, I mean, our guys aren't able to do the work. We've got two departments right now that are having to share one backhoe. So the skid steer is still in here because having a skid steer is going to be great for doing these small park projects and things around town. When we do have water main breaks on small side streets and it gets a little tight, or if it's up next to an apartment complex or anywhere, getting a skid steer in there is going to be a whole lot easier than getting a box blade or a backhoe. Obviously, backhoe is preferred, but if we can get a skid steer or even a mini excavator, one of those two, are going to be more optimal for the tight squeezes for our water department. But the
Can you
skid
get
steer is still in here.
You get a mini excavator attachment for a skid steer?
I don't know if you can or not. Attachment?
I think you can, but they're very unreliable because the whole, like the attachment itself is like 30% of an actual backhoe. We looked into it because we were looking at buying one, but nope.
So what I wanted to point out is we labeled a whole lot of projects urgent, and we talked about having to categorize them. So if you look at this spreadsheet here that's on that page, I've broken them up and categorized them by department. Why is it important to categorize them by department? Because generally funding depends on what department it is, right? So fire department's going to qualify for a lot more grants and things than our parks, streets, or water department are going to qualify for. However, streets and water department have other funds within the city, street tax fund, water fund from water revenue, that are eligible to pay for certain things. So each one kind of has its own significant funding source. So I don't want you to look at this as an overall picture. Look at it at the different categories. And when you look at the fire department, you look at parks department, you look at streets department, and you look at water department, take a look at the projects that we have listed. If we need to talk a little bit more about a specific project, we can. But take a brief look and see if you guys are happy with all of these projects being listed as urgent, because each project within its own category is pretty much going to be competing for each other. So for example, the fire department, when it comes up to the fire department, I can pretty much guarantee you that they're not going to buy a new engine and add $500,000 in firefighter staffing and MICU equipment and PPE all in the same year. If they do, I'm going to go buy a lottery ticket. But it's important to look at it by department and determine which one you feel is the most important, and those are the ones that we really need to kind of stick out in front and make sure those are listed urgent. If there's other ones that you feel are needed but may not be as urgent as the other projects within that department, then we need to go ahead and look at maybe assigning those as a necessary category or even a desirable category.
Well, also like the fire engine, that's not something we can get right now anyway. You don't pay up front for it, do you? Or I mean,
there's financing options, and I wouldn't worry about, I don't want to get too much into the weeds on the price because there's a lot of financing options, but when you look at this stuff, it's important to consider which out of these projects, which to you as the Planning and Zoning Commission, do you feel is going to be most important? So when you're looking at these projects, is the fire department, is the fire engine replacement important? Well, if you remember from the presentation, it's in pretty desperate need of repair.
It's going to take a while for us to get it right. Didn't they say they have to build it?
It's about a year. Yeah. I mean, it'll take about a year,
Yeah.
but the process has got to get started at some point. But when you look at the fire truck or self-contained breathing apparatus, I mean, it's going to get difficult to say which project is not urgent. And so I'm not asking you to decide right now which project is not urgent, but maybe look at it from the viewpoint of, out of each department, which projects are the most urgent that you feel need to take top priority? And let's leave those as urgent, maybe consider moving other ones to necessary or desirable. Fire department's not a big one to probably, I don't know if I would make many changes, if any, in there. But when you look at streets department, because of how lengthy the streets department one is, as well as maybe even parks department and water department, take a look at a couple of those and see if any of those could maybe be switched around. What I don't want to happen is I don't want so many projects listed under urgent that it feels like we never actually get to check anything off the list.
Well, to me, I don't know about the rest, just starting off with the fire department since it's first on our list. To me, it's the self-contained breathing apparatus and some things like that that are for the firemen.
Safety.
It's safety.
Safety.
Yeah,
No.
to me, that's my first thought. In that area.
Is the public works department not on here, not on the list?
So public works consists of streets, water, and parks.
So
it's all three.
Oh, okay.
Yep, it's all three. They're divided up into three individual departments.
To answer your question, you can get a box split attachment for skid steer.
Maybe we could
Oh,
just
what
pick
about
up two
a
or three of each.
back?
Right, that's
Backhoe.
what I was
We
thinking.
were
Like,
talking about a backhoe to get in and dig.
I mean, we could shoot for 3 to 4 or something like that to be urgent,
Yeah.
and then the rest we could take to.
What do y'all
Necessary
feel
and
about
then-
the fire department? Is there two that stand out to you that might be more urgent?
You can. Cool.
Casey's got one.
The protective equipment replacement and the self-contained breathing apparatus. To me, that's something that they can use right now.
So you think the engine and the staffing?
I think that needs to be started somehow. It's gonna
The
take
engine, it
years.
needs to be replaced too.
Well, I guess
And
you,
I think that's why Chief Spencer put it out there to keep in mind that there are a lot of grants.
The
And
engine-
grants for something that's gonna cost us 49,000 or 18,000, those might be a lot more accessible than, I mean, the grant to get firefighter staffing. I mean, unless you're a large department like Fort Worth who has received the SAFER grant, our smaller departments, we don't receive those.
You're still bitter about that.
Yes, I am.
but if we put that down as necessary, it still says it's needed to maintain existing level of quality. So, I mean, it's
So the
just,
fire-
we need this now, or this needs to be done to maintain what we've got.
Yes.
The safety stuff, I don't question, that's urgent. I mean, that's the fire engine and I don't know about the staffing.
So I'll give you my viewpoint. The staffing as it stands right now is okay and sustainable if we don't grow. But we know we're going through growth.
Yeah.
We know that that's about to change.
So should we put that as necessary and let them start thinking about that, or leave it as
That would
urgent?
probably be a better option. If I was in your shoes, I would look as firefighter staffing as a necessary. I agree with your assessment on self-contained breathing apparatus and PPE equipment and the engine. I mean, I think those three are I think you're correct on your assessment on those.
What about the fire engine?
I would-
Necessary,
Yeah, no, I would keep,
urgent.
yeah, it's,
So then
Okay.
we're pretty
Because
much,
So let's move the staffing to
To
necessary.
necessary.
right.
Because if they start working now on the fire engine replacement, it's gonna be a year, 6 months to a year or longer before we actually do.
But like you said, I mean, we have to actually issue a PO and get a job number, because if the second that we purchase it, then we're still looking at the 8 to 12 months. And so we're already at a point of disrepair with the fire engine we got. So we're already completely behind the curveball on this one. So we've got to add an additional year and a half on top of the age and wear and tear with a truck that's already.
That's what I'm saying, it'd be a while before you actually take possession of it, but it's still
The
urgent.
quicker the
yeah.
better on that one.
Yeah,
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Let's just move the fire to the,
the
Necessary.
staffing to necessary and everything else is urgent.
I think that's accurate because as we continue to grow, if we don't increase our staffing, that's going to be a problem.
So we got 4 urgent.
Because we're already scraping the bottom of the barrel with minimum staffing as is right now.
all right. Y'all good with that?
Yep.
Just changing that one?
If
Changing
that's,
that one.
if that's what you're looking for, we're saying 4 urgents and 1 necessary. Is that
That's
Having the field.
fine. And
having the field?
you're the planning and zoning committee, so you don't have to change a thing on this list. I just wanted to point out that there's a whole lot of urgents in 1 necessary project of 1 desirable project. So that's a whole lot of urgents to look at. We talked about prioritizing and
It's
some,
not our fault they wasn't doing their job.
and there's, it's not my fault either.
Hey,
But the point
We just trying-
again is you're not saying that this project's not important. We've got to look at this as, okay, we got to pick out what is going to be the most important. What do we need to really address right away?
I just want to make sure we're doing the right job, because, I mean,
Yeah.
In the right
nothing's any
order
worse
or
than them coming in and
something,
cutting our pay.
Yeah.
They gonna fire.
And the next one we can, could we downgrade the volleyball courts? I mean, they're only 5,000, but
Oh, water, please.
I don't know though.
Well, the new Pittman Park Walking Trail,
Yes, that's,
I know that's used a lot. We're fixing I seen where y'all cut the passing lane in over there. So this 150 is not that, it's to do the whole thing, right?
Yes.
Put the rail up and all that.
Yes. Yeah, that's for the entire walking track.
Oh, would the fencing, the parks be a part of what is jogging? Or is this just, I mean, I know fencing is everything, but.
Yeah, fencing is
What's going
everything.
together here, huh?
Yeah, fencing is fencing in the entire park.
Okay.
So
And
it's
the-
a part of that.
Oh, okay, so that's not, the fencing is
Oh,
not
that was-
in the new Pittman Park walking trail.
No,
Okay.
those are separate projects.
Well,
Mm.
then I'm gonna say, instead of redoing the trail, fix the section that we got, do the fence, and then we can come back and look at that. So I'd put that one as necessary.
Jogging,
The
Yes,
Pittman jogging trail, move that one to
And leave the
necessary.
fencing as urgent?
urgent is a restrooms, I would say.
The restrooms, yeah.
Yeah, the restroom was definitely urgent. So fencing would be the whole walk, the whole deal over here.
Yes, the entire park. Yes, ma'am. And that's listed in here. They're in alphabetical order if you need to look at it, but
Well, I'll tell you
4
what,
foot tall perimeter fencing around entire park for safety of citizens. Currently the walking track alongside the race curb, possibility of a child or adult coming into contact with the roadway is a concern, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, and basketball or volleyball court.
I think they're nice, they're not necessary. I mean, not urgent or anything.
they're pretty nasty.
They terrible.
Yeah, they're bad. They're
Yeah,
bad.
That's
You know.
terrible.
I guess that's right.
They're terrible.
You know,
Nothing out there.
As far as parks goes, and I felt this way when I was on the council too, the better you have the parks and the more activities you have for those kids to get over there,
Yeah.
the less trouble there is on the streets.
Right.
And
And I know,
that's- you got to give kids something to do. You can't take everything away from them and expect them to behave.
when the volleyball court was in decent shape, they were used a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
Really?
They're probably
Yes,
They were used.
we had tournaments. We had people doing tournament stuff all the time.
Oh, wow.
good. And is this gonna be done maybe before summer when they can be used? This-
Not this summer, no
Oh,
ma'am.
so- yeah.
So the CIP, really what you're looking at is you're looking at starting next budget. Because we're going to start the budget process this summer. We'll start the budget process for the next fiscal year this summer.
Okay, that's-
This year's budget's already locked in. So I don't know that we're going to get much else done at the park aside from the new city hall annex and the trail being rerouted here. And then some more work, maybe a little bit more work at the Memorial Park, but we're looking at next budget year.
Okay, well, so that's, we kind of need to know that, how soon any of this. could
Do you know
start.
how
This
easy?
is government. It ain't gonna be soon.
You know how easy with the skid steer it'd be to maintain those volleyball courts,
Yes.
keep the sand and all that in. Just man, I'll do that job. Love playing on a skid steer.
Okay, well, this is-
So are we keeping the playground equipment as,
It's necessary.
My votes, all of it's urgent except for the walking trail. Put that as an end. We can come back. I mean, I just kind of like to
Okay,
see
I
what we're
you're saying.
cutting. If we need to do more, then we can look back over it. But
so we're just moving the trail to necessary then?
To necessary.
you'll still need the utility trailer to move the skid steer and stuff on, right?
Yes. Now, I left the street equipment garage on here. If you remember, we talked about that. That was more specifically for that new equipment.
You still need something.
You still
Um,
need some for your
It would,
equipment.
it would still be nice considering we're getting
You
a
still need
backhoe
that.
and stuff.
You still need your equipment taken.
Are we moving on to streets? Is that what we're
Yes.
doing? Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
For the
Um,
record, what was I have a necessary for,
The walking trail was moved to necessary.
Yes.
and then I have urgent for the restrooms. That's all I have.
They haven't changed the rest.
Everything
Nothing
else
Everything
stays the
else stays
same.
urgent.
We're moving the Pittman Park walking trail to necessary.
Well, see if you could take the library and put it someplace else. You could use that whole block for the maintenance. Put the library in here and put the city hall over there in the ballpark or in the football field.
That's a good idea.
It's not bad.
So my opinion would be the street equipment garage. That's probably a necessary item, maybe not so much an urgent one.
Trailers.
Where do they keep everything now?
Outside.
Oh,
I like that. We need
Outside.
that garage somewhere.
But I'm comparing apples to apples here, so I'm looking at these other projects and trying to
Right.
decide. I mean, is the street equipment garage going to be more important in my opinion? Again, my recommendations and some of the streets that we have listed here for rebuild.
right.
I would almost maybe move the skid steer and the 20-foot, as much as I think we need a skid steer and a 20-foot utility trailer, maybe almost move those down as well. And then focus a lot of the urgent needs on some of the streets that we've highlighted here, the streets that need attention and parking lots.
Grayson.
Well, this parking lot, the first parking lot right here in front of the pavilion, it's terrible.
You talking about the one right across the street?
Yes.
Don't worry about it. It's already getting redone with the city hall.
No, I'm talking about
No,
in
no.
front of the pavilion.
Oh, down here, yes.
It's pitiful.
Yes.
The other one, it's bad, but
And that one is listed as the Pittman / Memorial parking lot. That's that
Yeah.
$148,000.
I'd sure like to have that done when we do the memorials and have it all done at once so it all looks good. I mean, I don't want everybody parking on gravel or dirt or grass or whatever that is there.
Then I would keep that one listed as urgent because again, this is for next fiscal year's budget. And I am anticipating and thinking that the EDC is going to want to push forward on the memorial project now that we've already got broken ground on it and
Right.
laid foundation.
Speaking of that, they might need to cut a slot in there in those deals where they put the pads going out.
Uh-huh.
I noticed the other day when it rained, those just filled up with water. So there's going to be,
Yeah, we're going to have to
Did you
put some
see
fill
that?
dirt in there. Yep. We've been talking about that.
the only thing I was thinking, if you put dirt in there, you're going to have dirt washing over your
Everything.
concrete.
Sod maybe or something.
I don't know. You're going to have to figure something out.
Yeah.
I was thinking just cutting a slot in there and just putting a grate over it, just letting the water run through the
Through. Yeah.
slot.
Drain style,
Yeah, like a French drain going through there,
big gravel on top.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I noticed it was full of water. I was like, crap.
Yep.
So the top 3 would be necessary?
Yeah,
That's your call,
The
but that's
trailer.
what I would
Which
recommend.
one?
Yeah, because the trailer would be for the skid steer and
Oh, I see.
the garage. I mean, if
So we gonna make the garage necessary?
no, yeah, we're
Uh.
downgrading the garage, steer, and the trailer.
man, I don't know.
The skid steer is handy.
No.
No, not the
I mean, I'm
garage.
good with that one. The one I'm thinking is the garage.
That's what I'm thinking.
They've got too much stuff that's getting ruined. I mean,
The rain.
Snow.
weather's hard on stuff.
Hmm.
And I guarantee you what's wrong with that tractor is that fuel
weather.
gelled in it.
Forget the police department. Who cares about that?
Well, normally I would agree with you.
Yeah, we're
Except actually Public Works uses that rear parking lot a lot more than the police department does.
Yeah,
I
but
think they need to-
it looks like Twisted Ankle City over there.
My husband's a retired Fort Worth police officer.
It's actually gotten so bad that now we don't even park our police cars back there. We switched. Used to, the employees would park on the side and the police cars would park in the back.
Mm.
And we switched. Now the employees park in the back and the police cars park in the side. Because everybody was always pulling gravel and stuff into the police cars. Now they can bring it into their own personal cars instead of my police cars.
There you go.
So do you have a place to build the garage? Or you have to acquire the land? I can't remember on that one.
No, we've got a couple pieces of land that
Okay.
we can build that on.
I think that needs to stay necessary.
Necessary
Not
or
necessary,
urgent?
Urgent.
Urgent.
I think the garage needs to be
Okay.
urgent.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
'Cause it'll help the equipment last longer.
Yeah. So I guess necessary is gonna be the Caterpillar skid steer and the trailer.
Oh,
Okay.
Necessary for those.
Necessary for those two. And then we'll leave the other one as a urgent. The rest of them streets, I'm gonna say urgent.
Oh, the streets, yeah.
Yeah, all the rest
All
of
the
them are
much
streets.
streets, they definitely need to fix it.
Oh, what?
Number one.
Oh, it's big.
Race.
They would be looking there.
Did Georgetown have any extra problems?
In,
And then they had a-
because now you have two big old parking lots on each
Oh, I
side.
don't know.
Maybe. Yeah. On these particular streets, one thing I would like is your approval here. So we've got Peppermill Street, Kelly Drive, Steeple Ridge Road and Court, and then Race Street. The only thing that I would ask is your permission to kind of put an asterisk with Race Street as an extremely urgent item, just because of how poor it is, and
It's the
kind of
main
support that if we, I mean, all these streets are urgent, they need to be addressed, but I think Race Street needs to be addressed primarily
It's at Kelly
because
too, you
of
thought.
the, I'm sorry?
Did you say Kelly at one time was the?
Yes, Kelly's on here as well.
What I mean is this as an important.
Race is number one. It's
Yeah, I
it's
know
the
race
main
is
street for
one,
the
but
city.
Kelly.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm saying Race Street is just because it acts as a thoroughfare. The other ones, although they're in desperate need of repair, they're residential streets, so the amount of traffic on those is significantly less compared to Race Street. And Race Street is in really bad shape. I will tell you, I think we may have found a funding opportunity for the city to come in and help with Race Street, which would be good.
Do I have
Race,
to abstain from that vote?
race is
Do I
number
have to
one.
abstain?
No. But with your permission, I'd like to just add an asterisk to that one as ranking that one number
Yes,
one.
definitely.
Yeah,
I'm definitely good with it.
I'm for,
You
I'm for it.
spoke last time about the northern end of Race. You
Yes.
said something about bridges and stuff.
So as a part of that conversation that we had with Tarrant County, we met with the gentleman with Tarrant County who has some connections and knowledge about TxDOT grants, as well as Army Corps of Engineers projects that are ongoing that we would qualify for. So he believes Race Street would qualify for that project to include the replacement of the bridge on Race Street, which is desperately
Which
needed.
bridge?
The bridge on the south end of Race
The
Street.
south end,
Yep.
okay.
With that, and ranking it as number one and as an extremely urgent item that needs to be addressed immediately, my hope is to take this with that and hopefully pursue some of those funding opportunities. That way TxDOT and the Army Corps of Engineers can take a look at it and hopefully get that addressed for
The
this next
whole
coming
thing,
fiscal year.
yeah.
The whole thing,
It
from
needs-
Everman Parkway, Shelby, all the way up to Bell, the
it
whole
needs-
thing. And that bridge is in desperate need of repair. And it needs to be expanded, not on the surface, but underneath the volume of water it's allowed to
That's
hold.
true.
That needs to increase
Yeah.
because it's not sustainable right now
And
and
prob-
contributed to our flooding.
And probably gonna get worse.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. All right, so the changes we made with the street department were the skid steer, the 20-foot trailer, we're moving those to necessary. Everything else is staying urgent with the number one street priority being Race
no
Street.
Race.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I was asking, I heard that they had a water break. Have we had water pipe breakage? I heard on Georgetown, that area, they had one.
Yes, we had
Is that
two water main breaks, and then every well we had some sort of failure at it,
We talked about that.
whether it be electrical, frozen pipes, pump freeze, booster pump failures. We had a lot of problems. I'll tell you, I'm really proud of our water guys. They did
Great.
a phenomenal job. Those guys worked 18, 19 hours straight all the time.
How many guys is in that department?
Water department is 3, and then street department is also 3, and street department was out helping water department
6?
through all that. 6 altogether. 6 guys attending all different water issues that we had. We had frozen lines. We had, and these were lines that were insulated by the installers. The insulation was not sufficient enough on these lines. We had to go out, take the insulation off, thaw them out, rewrap them with triple layer insulation. We had the hose insulation, then they took RF interior insulation, wrapped it around it, and duct tape insulation around that just to keep them from trying to freeze. I mean, it was a long weekend.
Well, let me ask you a question. Is there anything that we need to look at as far as doing those to where, I know this was a freak deal, just like that flood was.
Yeah.
But should we look at something to make that?
So that's what we're compiling. We had that after action meeting to talk about all the different issues. What could we have done better? What could we have done to prevent this? I hope to have that report completed for city council next week to present to them to say, hey, these are the action items that we've met that we need to address before this happens again. So hopefully over the next year, we can start checking off a lot of those items. A lot of it is not, it's really not cost prohibitive. A lot of it is things that are just tasks that we need to address, like proper insulation, installing some heaters around our booster pumps, those kinds of things. It's not something that's going to break the bank. It's just a checklist that we need to provide.
Well, let me ask you a question. What kind of heaters? When you're saying you're putting heaters, what kind of heaters?
Space heaters, space heaters.
Okay.
Yep.
What if they shut the electricity off like they did?
Well, and that's the other big thing that we talked about at our booster pumps.
Do we
is
need generators?
We
at
have to
each?
get backup generators.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, that, when I build my house out there, that power goes out all the time. Already got a generator sitting there that I'm going to tie into my grid so that if the power goes off, it comes on. I mean,
We talked about placing, getting portable generators, and we've got some within the city, but we need more.
buy those in the summer.
Yeah,
No,
you're telling me.
nobody
I
wants
went
it.
and bought one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it for sale?
It might be. My wife about killed me over it when she found out how much I paid for it.
Did they cut your power off?
No, that's why she's so mad. I went and bought it, paid all this money for it, and didn't even use it. I was kind of hoping the power was going to go.
No, I had people at my house.
Run your breaker and just.
I had
I
that
thought
people
about
at
it.
my house.
I had thought about
Water
it.
and lights when I was,
My stove, I can turn that
it came, some
gas
people,
on it.
people
My
came to
in-laws
my
are
house.
80
to
years
say-
old and they cut their power off and their house was cold.
Yeah.
And I mean, I had finally that one night, I finally said, look, y'all are coming over here. This ain't gonna work. If I got to rope you or whatever, you're coming over to the house. And got them over there. And of course, they showered and then the water went off and I didn't get the showers. wasn't real happy
Well,
with them.
well, I'm thankful mine didn't go off.
No,
I had
That's all right.
like 8 extra people in my house.
All right, water department. I would make the recommendation of moving the lawnmower down to necessary. I don't think it's a safety issue of any kind that we need to mark that one urgent. The other ones I'll leave up to you. I will tell you the jet vac system truck failed on us in the weather. We needed it and it failed because of frozen lines on it. And we've now got busted seals all over it. So it's in pretty bad shape at the moment. So we definitely need one of those.
That's pretty urgent.
So would on the combine with Wisteria, would all 3 of those be redone at the same time or would they be break them up?
They would have to be broken up just simply because of cost.
Okay.
Water fund is not able to fund that all at one time. And typically we get CDBG funds every other year that we can allocate towards water projects to help offset those.
Will y'all redo the roads at that same time?
Whenever those get scheduled, yeah. As a matter of fact, that's why, so Columbine and Wisteria both need road repair.
Yeah.
But we're not putting them on the CIP until we figure out when we can get those water lines replaced. Same thing with Bell Street. There's a portion of Bell Street that needs to be redone. Don't want to put that on here until we get the water lines replaced.
Urgent.
Well, talking about all this water, I guess we want this storage tank on the high school too.
That,
It's urgent.
yeah, that's definitely, in my opinion, going to be an urgent project. So
urgent.
that ground storage tank is the original. It's in pretty desperate need of replacement.
So let's just move the lawnmower to
To
necessary.
necessary and everything else stay urgent.
I wouldn't object to that.
Deer Creek rebuild necessary.
What?
I moved on down
down
to
to-
street department necessary projects.
Yeah, Deer Creek rebuild, you guys labeled that one as necessary previously. I don't think that's a bad choice. We've got several other streets that are pretty urgent that need to be addressed. The boom lift was listed as a desirable project, which I think is good. And then there were 2 projects that require more research that we're going to have to bring back to you. One of them was a sidewalk replacement and rehab because it just wasn't specific enough. And really, we need to be more specific when we're doing the sidewalks. And then the tractor and brush hog replacement. Tony made some recommendations there that need to be researched on replacing those and going with different brands on those. So both those will be researched and eventually brought back before you. And we keep those on here just as a checklist of, hey, these were brought up, but we got to readdress it. What's going to happen here?
Talking about sidewalks, this is this little, I think something should be made in a ordinance or something that when they, like these new houses, they're putting in sidewalks, that no one should be allowed to put, plant a tree between the sidewalk and the road. Because all of you who've ever walked down a sidewalk that had a tree in that area, it just messed up the sidewalk. The roots have just totally ruined those sidewalks. Just a thought, any new sidewalks,
Right.
there would not, in that easement, there'd be no trees. I don't know. Just a thought.
Well, you'd have to do it in the yard too. You'd have to figure out,
How far from the sidewalk?
yeah. And if they'll plant real trees instead of these junk trees, the roots don't come up on the ground anyhow.
Non-berry mulberries.
Mulberries, hackberries, all them roots come up.
Blackberry.
They grow on top of the ground. I think the roots grow up.
Well, years ago, we didn't know any better than non-berry mulberry. Those pistachios, Chinese pistachios, they're great. Anyway. What'd you say about
Just that it's listed as desirable. It's already on there, as desirable. Just no changes. It's necessary. And if y'all wanted to, I mean, you could add the other residential streets down there with the necessary projects as well. If you wanted to move those out of urgent down to necessary, I mean, they're still going to be addressed
In order to prioritize race?
if you wanted to.
Okay.
And I guess that would kind of lead to the question of, do you feel the parking lots at the Memorial Park and then the parking lot at the police department are more important than the
street?
then the residential streets are less important? I mean, that's going to be
Well, right now, I'd say they were more important.
and that's your call. But as it stands right now, they're all of equal importance. So
Right.
I don't know who's going to choose what. Now, of course, if you ask somebody who lives on Peppermill or Kelly, they're gonna
Yeah. Well, I mean,
my opinion is I would address the issues that affect the most people, and the most residents or the most service.
Well, that's what you were saying about Kelly.
well, that would be this parking lot right here then. Because Jesus, everybody parked. I mean, that thing is, right now they're parking over here because that one there is so bad they'd tear their car up going in and out.
I say the parking lot. Cause I go,
They'd be
up
better
there.
off just tilling what they've got there under and just leveling it off. With that skid steer that you have cut. Being ignored, huh?
No, I'm listening to you.
Because we have pretty much 3 parking lots and 3 residential streets and then race, right? We definitely want to keep race as urgent.
Race
Kelly
is
is
number
another
one. Race is number one thing that needs to be.
And I don't disagree
Right.
with Kelly because it provides a thoroughfare between Race and Christopher. There are a lot of vehicles that drive
Yeah.
through there
Okay.
to get this. So I wouldn't disagree with you on Kelly. Maybe move Peppermill and Steeple Ridge down to necessary. Still keeping them on the list, but just kind of prioritizing the Race and Kelly Drive.
Let's do that. Y'all
Yeah.
do that?
Yeah.
Sounds good. We want to keep all parking lots as urgent.
The
Yeah, I
parking
think
lots are urgent.
So moving Peppermill
Kelly, Race, and Peppermint, and the parking lots are
and Steeple Ridge
All
down to
right.
necessary.
Yeah,
Because that's public.
It's on the top of the back.
yeah, people that comes into the city and stuff.
There's a lot of people come from out of town
Down
to
to
go
use
over
that
there.
walking.
Right. And they
Well, I
need
know
a,
there's a lot of them is parking now down by where the Pee Wee football field used to park instead of right here.
Yeah, you
It's
can't
terrible.
get in there. It's terrible.
And
You
I
been in
use
there?
it. Yeah, 'cause I go walking up there.
Yep, correct.
it's tough.
And then we're keeping all 3 parking lots still as urgent?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
What about, are we back to water again? I know
Okay.
you said that the jetback truck thing is urgent and the high school storage is urgent. The lawnmower is necessary.
Right.
What about those other two things? Are they just,
I would hate to move water line replacement projects any lower than urgent. Those are on here for a reason. When we started this project for capital project request, I asked them to put on here locations that they commonly went to for main breaks. Both those came up. So
that's what I was wondering about Georgetown when I heard that it,
we don't get that many. That was kind of a unique deal, and I think that one was secondary to the structure fire that occurred over there. It's not uncommon on our system if there's any kind of jolt in the system that we're gonna spike a main break. So I think that there may have been that may have been secondary to the house fire right around the corner from that hydrant that may have caused what we call a water hammer on the system, which could have punctured that system. Does it need to be replaced? Our entire system needs to be replaced. Is it necessarily urgent? I don't think that one's as urgent as these are.
well, it's just, I thought they were always talking about after what we had to freeze, we're gonna have all these water main breaks. And I was like, no. And we,
Man, I'll tell you,
which,
I was over at my in-laws. Well, this is the night I picked them up. There was a house right around the corner. I could see it from their deal. It was burning, boy. I mean, it was burning. And you feel sad because all those people trying to do is just stay warm.
That's all.
They just don't know what to do to stay warm.
We ran 5 structure fires in that 3-day period.
Really?
Y'all had 5?
Yeah, not within the city.
Yeah,
but
I know what
mean,
you're talking about.
in the immediate area, because we respond to Forest Hill, Ledge Cliff,
Were they all just from people just trying to stay warm?
or faulty electrical because of the
Yeah.
weather. Yep.
On the fireplace issue. And
That's just sad. I mean, that's,
I think all but one was initially with an attic fire.
man.
People do doing some crazy stuff trying to stay warm.
Yeah, and I think I don't know.
Okay,
In
so we're
Boy
moving
Scouts, we went
7
camping in
projects
20-degree
down.
weather and we stayed warm. Yeah, there's things you can do that don't pertain to fire.
And the one we didn't talk about was the new city hall.
Right.
That's necessary.
Is that necessary? rather than
Yeah.
urgent?
No, I mean, that's still
Yes.
urgent. That's still urgent.
That's urgent.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna argue.
It represents the city.
Yeah,
but do you know where it's
It's
gonna
the
go?
city.
yeah. Or
That's a
the-
good question. Well, somebody was just talking about the football field, so.
I think
Do anyone still use the football field?
there's so much room there.
They actually just reached out to me and wanted to meet about trying to get
Oh.
some more youth events in the city, and Pee Wee football being one of them, which I think would be great if we can get it off the ground. So I haven't met with them yet. I'm open to it and doing what we can to support them and giving our youth more to do.
Man, I hated it when they took the soccer out. When they did rebuild the parks and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, they were having soccer, that men's soccer, kids soccer, everybody was over there, and then they redid the parks and run them off, and it's like, finish this one and then do that one, and kind of killed it. But
Yeah.
man, I hated that. I like seeing all them kids out there.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of youth sports. So I played youth sports growing up. So I think
Yeah, all my
Keeps kids
all
out
my
of
kids
trouble.
played here at Everman. All 4 of them played youth sports.
so. If we
From
can
4 years all the way
anything we
up.
can do to support the baseball association, and if football's going to come back and get more involved,
Hmm.
anything that we can do to support them. We'll
I
definitely
might
look to-
I might be on the stand here in a few months. We have some property right there around the restaurant, and we had planned on developing it. I had my partners, we're going to develop the whole place,
Yeah, I've been waiting for that.
and
man.
then COVID started, and then everybody they're gone. So what I'm thinking about doing, because they're not completely out of the picture, but they're saying I mean, retail is dead, right? And I mean, it's just like, it's a cycle, what I think. So I was thinking in the meantime, so it's not just dead land, I'm gonna wanted to just, grade it off and then put some soccer goals and have some soccer tournaments, because all of us, we in the restaurant, a bunch of the guys, we go to over here in Wichita by TCC,
Yeah.
and it's packed, and it's during a good time too. It's it's weekend mornings, so there's a lot of kids, and they're looking for space.
Man, when I was a kid growing up here, we'd get on our bikes, we'd ride down here, and if there wasn't any kids down here to play ball against, we'd ride up to the pony fields or over to this one, hit the schools, and somewhere you'd find a group of kids playing ball. It's kind of like Sandlot. You just ride until you found somebody playing ball, and then y'all go play baseball.
Yeah.
If you couldn't find anybody, you played with ghost runners.
Absolutely.
My
It just
kids always had neighbors.
keeps
They
kids.
played behind Saturn until the school took that up.
Boy, I wish
Yeah,
COVID
nice.
would attack the cell phones, and that way these kids would get off their butts and go do something.
Right, there you go.
Well, can't they use the football field for soccer?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
what they were doing.
That's what they were
Yeah.
doing.
Okay.
And this one's actually set up for that. I don't know if
Okay.
the uprights,
Yeah.
they serve as soccer
That's
goals as
good.
well.
Yeah.
Need some new nets, but that's something that we can take care of for them, if it's going to be utilized for that.
Okay, now the community center is already set up to go.
Yes.
It's already in the planning.
Yes. So we're hoping to break ground on the fire station here in the next couple of weeks. I'm hoping.
Well, can we
We're
get some
really
kind of-
close. I'm sorry.
Can we get some kind of a picture of it or blueprint of it or see what it looks like?
Some phone going off at the same
Do we need
time.
to adjourn?
Is that the guy at the jail? That's it.
Oh, the phone going off at the same
Let me
time.
see. Give me just a second.
It was in a council meeting a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah, I think I can pull it up on the agenda.
Yeah, I tried to pull the council meeting up. I was sitting at a basketball game that Tuesday night and I couldn't. I was in Boston, so I felt like it was.
I can pull up the agenda.
I could get to the first page of it, but then to actually get into the council meeting, I couldn't. I said, forget it.
Well, did they know where we're gonna put the city hall?
Right across the street, aren't they?
City
No,
hall.
that's the annex
That's
going over there. They're
Oh,
redoing
I thought
the
they were
community
redoing
center.
that and making it City Hall and annex.
No, that's
No.
just going to be a civic center
Community
essentially. It'll be a 6,000 square foot. It'll have breakout rooms, a large convention style ballroom
Oh, wow.
event for it, industrial style kitchen, be able to rent it out. And people actually want to rent it because it'll be a nice venue. Not like the current.
What will they
one
do
across
with
the
this
street.
building?
This building will still stay City Hall. That's not turning into City
How
Hall.
about if we build a new City Hall?
Then we would have to address that. That's,
Probably wouldn't
we
fit
have to
here. huh?
do some either property acquisition or talk about expanding on. We just purchased this property immediately adjacent here, so we could add on to City Hall and expand and take up the whole block.
Oh, so this house here.
Yes, Charlie's
Not
house.
ours.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
AKA fire station number 2 for the next few months.
Yes.
That's all right. I'm just curious.
I think I've got it. No, it's already on. I think I just turned it on. Let me see if I can pull up these pictures here.
Well, as far as the city hall, then we just gotta say, yes, we can have it, or we need it, or it's urgent.
Yeah, we can put it as
I'll
urgent.
put urgent.
I think they'll start
I'm
It's up
doing
to us
that.
to research where, how, what,
Right.
all that stuff, and
I put urgent. That's it all. Yeah, to me, that's an attraction
Right.
for people. But you want your city to have a good, beautiful.
Man, if you just walk around in some of these offices, this is,
I was gonna say afterwards,
I
I'll
didn't
take
think
you
we
around.
needed.
This is-
Yeah.
way,
This is probably the best
I
part right
figured
here.
it was just already okay.
It's customary also.
To
the fire
vote on it.
chiefs
no,
city
all the
hall.
wiring and stuff.
Throw it out there.
Get your office, go ahead, get your office.
Didn't think-
Yeah, you can have
It's
your
nice to
office.
separate, the administration from the guys, because then you don't have to worry about that always in my office thing.
So I know this is kind of hard to see, so I'll kind of try to point it out for you a little bit. This would be the front entryway here. This is actually a drive under carport from the parking
What
lot.
direction are we looking at?
This is top looking down.
Like north,
This-
south, east, west,
This part right here at the bottom,
Mhm.
this is facing City Hall.
Okay.
This is the front doors.
east?
So, yep, so you come in through the front doors here. Immediately on the left would be two large bathrooms with more than one toilet in each one.
Oh,
The women's will have 3 stalls. The men's will have 2 stalls with a urinal and then double vanity sinks. To the right, this would be a secured lock door. To the right, there will be 2 offices, one for Jeff Reed, one for Michael Nicoletti, who are currently officed over there. And then these 3 rooms are breakout rooms that are available to either be utilized by a business owner, or if we have a training conference there and they need to go into the breakout rooms. If we have God forbid, another disaster of some kind, and we need to have a emergency operations center set up, we could utilize those rooms for office spaces and utilize the big room, if you remember back in the flood, for the available resource center and so forth for the residents. You'd also come through another set of double doors that'll lead into the larger ballroom, which will kind of be an open concept style ceiling with good lighting and everything on it. To the left here is the industrial sized kitchen. We're going to have the catering warmers and stuff in there with a pass through window that'll be able to lock, so people can rent either the ballroom or they can rent the ballroom and the kitchen and have access to either one. This will be an IT storage room right here for all of our tables and things. We'll have round tables, rectangle tables, whatever people who rent the facility need, we'll be able to set it up. We'll also have a portable stage that we can set up over here. It'll have the nice high quality audio video equipment in there. So if we're having trainings, you can broadcast your PowerPoints or your videos or whatever. As you come out the back, this is actually a patio that's available on the back side where people can step outside. There's some concept drawings on here for you as well. That's not one of them. That is one of them. Those are, can you even see that? I don't think you can see that on there.
Okay, how's it gonna sit there? Are we gonna have much room on the south side? You know, like a driveway or something?
So let me pull up a map and I'll show you these. These aren't very good. Do you have a print?
I'm not interested.
No? Okay.
All that's what's
I didn't come prepared.
in our email. We've got the ones that for the actual like front view, like architectural style.
Oh, looks like the government supermarket.
Okay, so the way it's going to be situated, this is our current annex right here. It's actually going to be pushed back and more centered
Okay.
in here
Okay.
with a parking entrance on both sides. They come in off of Wichita and off of Ray Street with a concrete parking lot wrapped all the way around the building. So you'll be able to park on either side. You can get access to either side. That's why the walking track now, if you go over there and look, it's been cut out to cut straight across the outside of this soccer field that was here, because the building is going to go right where the current walking track is, with significant parking on the outside.
Thank you, I was curious.
I will see if I can, it's very hard to see on that screen. Can I print it from here? Oh, I can't. It's not the right printer. I don't know what printer that is. I don't know if anybody can y'all even see that at all?
No.
Okay.
That's good enough for me.
The
Looks
the
like
architecture is going to be just like Hummel Elementary.
Oh,
That architecture they have over here, we wanted to go with traditional architecture. So it'll have the old brick style with the sconces and things along the outside. We're trying to keep a classic look. So,
If you look at Grossman's emails, that's in there. And the
oh yeah, you want to show that to me? Quick?
yeah, I hate those buildings being in front of Hummel.
Those what?
Those
I know.
buildings in front of
portable.
Hummel. Yes.
I thought they was gonna move all of them.
Well, that's what I thought too.
So this was just one of we were coming up with a kind of a town center, but that's how the civic center
Oh,
will
I
be
understand, I understand.
established on the bottom. And then I'll find there was also more of an architectural view of the front of the building. I'll find it real quick.
When do they think he'll actually finish it, do it?
Roughly June is when, oh, you
That
talking about
quick?
finish? I'm sorry, you said finish?
Oh, I
Yeah,
was like,
whatever.
The goal is to finish that before Christmas.
I
Oh,
was like,
wow.
year.
That's fast.
We really want to try to get it finished before Christmas, so we didn't get to do our normal Christmas festival this year with Santa and all that. We'd love to be able to get this done by Christmas and do the Santa
That'd be-
festival.
It's just a time.
So that's
I'm so
our
sick of this.
goal.
This COVID's ruined a lot of stuff,
Yeah, our goal is to try to have it done
Christmas.
by Christmas.
vacations, everything.
Yes.
We thought that'd be a pretty cool first event to have there as a Christmas festival.
Oh, yeah.
I'll plan that.
Yeah, after last week, me and Lori canceled our Alaskan vacation. I have nothing to do.
My crew's been
All right.
canceled twice. I told them just forget it.
Y'all want to come through it once more? Any other changes or anything? Any recommendations? You happy with it?
No, I'm
Good.
fine.
We're good?
All right, so just to clarify, we're gonna move firefighter staffing, the Pittman Park walking jogging trail, the Caterpillar skid steer, the 20-foot utility trailer, Peppermill Lane street rebuild, Steeple Ridge Road and court rebuild,
Right,
and the lawnmower to necessary. Everything else is staying urgent.
yes.
Yes.
Okay. So all we would need is a motion.
Graves has the extra star, the extra U's and
Yep.
everything else on it.
All we would need is a motion
To accept the changes,
to accept the changes and to approve this for recommendation to city council.
make a motion that we approve the changes and make a motion to present this to the city council.
I second the motion.
I third the motion.
All those in favor?
All those in favor.
Oh.
Aye.
Aye.
No opposed.
Well, no.
So I'll finish this draft up again. I know it looks short and sweet, but this is going to be part of a much bigger comprehensive plan that'll include master thoroughfare and all kinds of stuff. Once that final draft is done, we'll make sure you all get a copy of that. We still need to have a meeting, I believe, in a couple weeks because we've got some zoning request changes hopefully coming forward. One about the food truck park that we talked a little bit about last week over here across from Pittman Park. And then another one regarding the industrial development over here. It's currently zoned residential. We're recommending that get changed to
When they fix the
heavy
street over
industrial.
there,
do what now?
when they fix the street,
Which street?
Is this,
oh,
Floyd?
we changed the industrial, when they fix the street.
Let me show you. They're not even going to touch our streets. They're going to put in their own.
Oh, nice. There's gonna be a lot of
is
choice.
this what's left over, that little bitty piece right there on the corner?
Yes. Yeah, right behind
Right behind.
Floyd and Trammell.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I was wondering how far that went into.
So our city limit actually comes out. This is Trammell right here. This is Floyd. This is Wichita. Our city limit actually comes out about here and cuts down. We have about 17 acres of this. They're wanting to put a large industrial facility right here that is a Dolomer mat distributor. Essentially the gym mats you see in all the high schools and wrestling mats and things, that's what they distribute at the shop. So the plan is to come in and build this warehouse for them to have the distributors. They're going to take care of putting in their own infrastructure for the facility to include their own water line and their own 48 wide foot road, concrete roadway. So they would come in off of Enon and then the roadway would actually cut in right here parallel to Floyd Street, keeping the traffic off of our residential street.
Oh,
They
man.
would put in the street that would lead back to the large concrete parking lot attached to the industrial development. All of this is getting
We done.
is getting developed into industrial. This is just
Yeah.
our little slice of the pie right here.
It's all right, we'll take it. That's revenue.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So that's the plan there. So this is currently this even though there's nothing here, it's currently zoned residential, A1 residential, I believe. And
Okay.
recommending and they're requesting it be rezoned to heavy industrial.
Do you think any of the people along through there have any problem with it?
Not that I know of. Now, when the zoning request and stuff comes in, she'll issue the public notices and all that good stuff. So if they do have a problem with it, they'll be able to come up here and voice their opinion on it.
Yeah, I like
I
that.
I
have.
like that.
Have you?
I was waiting for it. I've been waiting for it for at least a year.
Yeah, I haven't heard nothing.
Oh,
He has quite the car collection.
Oh.
You know that.
That looks nice.
Yeah, down at the end.
It's nice.
is that trailer park
Oh, wow.
still, is it still there? The one up on the north side?
Up here?
That's Fort Worth? Is that
Yes,
county?
that's
Fort
Fort
Worth.
Worth.
That's
Yeah, yeah.
still Fort Worth. and
Still Fort Worth, and it's still there. Yes, ma'am.
Why do you think it's there?
That's all right. I'll show you something else. So
And they don't come out to see.
all this land right here,
Uh-huh.
this is across from the Uplift Academy.
Yeah.
This is the Uplift Academy right here. All this land in Fort Worth.
Uh-huh.
It's going to stretch all the way back around here, connect all the way to England.
Mhm. Houses.
750
Houses.
pre-manufactured homes.
Yes.
Pre-manufactured?
Manufactured homes.
Man,
So trailer.
Well,
it's a
No,
bit upper
they're
class.
actually going to be two-story prefab homes. Yeah, so the cars park underneath and they're elevated. Apparently, they're real popular in Colorado. We got to meet with the developer a while back.
So that's Everman.
No,
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's up
okay.
the street from you.
no, that's
Yeah,
the city of
yeah.
Fort Worth.
And my parents live, yeah, right down
Yeah.
the street of that.
Yeah, 750 pre-manufactured homes.
And
Wow.
I'll be able to look at it.
A lot of stuff popping up around us.
Yep,
All right.
it's all paid for now. Come
So-
on.
I think that's all I've got for the CIP workshop. And
Make a motion, we adjourn.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
you just have to adjourn it. There you go.